Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, we have a glorious show today. Hey, the third organizational sweep in the last week and a half, and really it's the fourth because on Sunday, every team in the organization won at least one game. If you remember, Oklahoma City had the doubleheader. They lost the second game of that doubleheader. So, hey, let's consider that 4 organizational sweeps in the last week and a half. So that is absolutely glorious. So we have a great show, a lot of stuff to get to on today's show. But hey, before we get into all that, just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, we do now have the link in the description. And if you like this kind of video and this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. And hey, become a subscriber. And after you subscribe, click that notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified, and Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep doing what we love, which is providing videos like this in the future. Okay, again, all 5 teams. LA, of course, they have won now the 5 games in a row, going for their second 3-game sweep in a row. Of course, they hadn't had a 3-game sweep all year long until the last 2 series, so that's fantastic. And again, all the minor league affiliates won too. So hey, let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers this afternoon are going to go for their second consecutive 3-game sweep after an entire season to this point without one coming into that part of the season. So how about that? Hey, I've talked a couple of times about chunking your season into different chunks. And I mentioned, hey, you wanted a 3-game sweep against the Cardinals. You got that. You wanted to win at least 2 out of 3 against the Phillies because you're kind of a similar team. At least the records look similar coming into this series. And you're at home, so you want to take care of at least 2 of those games. Okay, check and checkmate to those. And now you want to get greedy. So now you've kind of set those goals, at least I have. You've reached those goals. So now, hey, let's go ahead and get greedy, and let's go for 2 sweeps in a row and take a lot of momentum into the San Diego series. That's what the Dodgers have on store today, and they have Gavin Stone going for them on the bump. I am so super pumped about this young man out of Lake City, Arkansas, Riverside High School. Some things to look for him. Obviously, that changeup is super, super elite. But I think what Dodgers fans are really going to notice the most about him and enjoy the most about him is that his pulse just stays really, really, really low. His heartbeat it never speeds up. So, kind of like James Outman, where in the big moments, he doesn't speed up. Gavin Stone is the same way. He is made for the big moment because, like I said, he just stays so calm. He stays so poised. And I think for that very factor, the major league setting for him is actually going to make him better because it's going to be competitive, but it's not going to make him nervous and it's not going to make him speed up. So from that perspective, his mentality, he threw a no-hitter his last outing at UCA in 2020 there for the University of Central Arkansas Bears. And so he's obviously very good. He reached as high as 98 at the end of 2021, and you're going to see the good slider. And again, another thing to look for him is his command. He's high level enough to where at this point in his career, what he's really working on are just kind of the different tunnels he throws to, where he can start a ball at one tunnel, have the four seam right it, have the slider turn left, and then have the changeup drop, and then maybe sometimes at least have a little bit of fade to the right as well. Those are the kinds of things that he's working on. So we'll see, what the command looks like today. And so super excited, well-deserved to Gavin Stone. Hey, he was a young man from a small town that had a huge vision, and that vision has become perfectly clear today as he takes the mound, giving the Dodgers a chance to complete their second sweep in a row, and I am so pumped about that. Okay, how about last night's game? It was just absolutely awesome. Okay, Dodgers fans at this point, for all the things that we've chewed on, I've mentioned, hey, it's never as good as it looks, as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. So you got to kind of stay even keel. And this is one of those deals where you can kind of get on a high right now because not only are the Dodgers winning games, but they just played tremendous offense last night. And then Julio was fantastic in his 7 innings. Gave up just the 1 run. Usually it's 6 innings for him and 1 run. Last night it was 7 innings. And then Phil Bickford and Alex Vesia were very good out of the pen as well. So, hey, it was a great day for the Dodgers yesterday. Okay, 8 out of the 9 starters got a hit. So anytime you're sharing the wealth like that, I've talked many times about, hey, get everybody, as many people involved as you can early in the game just to get the good vibes going throughout your dugout. Well, how about 8 of the 9 starters getting hits yesterday? That was fantastic. The Dodgers, because of that, everybody feeling good about themselves. Now, all of a sudden, when everybody feels good about themselves, you start scoring in more innings. Okay, the Dodgers scored in 5 innings in total, which, whenever you're scoring in multiple innings like that, versus, there's some games where the Dodgers will score like in 1, maybe 2 innings, and they might score 3 or 4 runs and score 5 or 6, but it doesn't seem like they have the momentum the whole game. When you're scoring in 5 different innings and 8 out of your 9 hitters have hits, it just feels like you have the momentum the entire game, which is what last night felt like to me. So that was a really, really, really nice performance for the Dodgers last night. It was complete. I know a couple of the Dodgers have talked about, Chris Taylor mentioned it a day or two ago. Hey, team baseball, that's what last night was. It was fantastic. I certainly enjoyed it. So let's go through some of the scenarios, how the Dodgers scored. Okay, first inning, Freddie Freeman doubled. Will Smith singled. Max Muncy on a sac fly. Doesn't get any better than that. How about a double, single, sac fly? Get on. You get over, you get them in. I love that kind of baseball. You have a third of your lineup that contributed to that run. You have a third of your lineup that now feels really good about themselves. They're ready to get a positive day started. And then the second inning, James Outman walks, Miguel Vargas doubles, Mookie Betts singles. So now, in the first 2 innings of the game, 2/3 of your lineup feels like they have directly contributed to the success of the team that day. That's just in the second inning. That's why you feel like you have momentum the whole game, because then with all those guys feeling that good about themselves, you're going to score in multiple innings because your entire lineup now feels like, hey, it doesn't matter if we're at the 1 through 3 holes, 4 through 6 holes, 7 through 9 holes. We can score every single inning because everybody in our lineup right now is playing good offense. Then the 4th inning, Miguel Vargas, what a day he had. We'll get into a little bit more on him in a minute. A double, and then Miguel Rojas. So that makes your 7th guy in the lineup right there. He gets a single, and then Mookie Betts, RBI single. So through the 4th inning, you now have 7 guys in your lineup at this point, which Austin Barnes is the only guy that did not get a hit last night that started. So 7 of your 9, you're not even halfway through the game yet, feel like they have absolutely directly contributed. And then Austin Barnes has massively contributed because he's calling the pitches for Julio and calling a fantastic game. And his job as a catcher, number 1, especially when the rest of the offense is scoring and playing good offense like the Dodgers did last night, is to hold the other team down. So Austin Barnes, although he did not hit, was still, even to that point, a massive contributor. So, you're talking about just spreading the wealth and playing great team baseball. That was it. Okay, 7th inning, look at Mookie Betts single, Will Smith singles, Chris Taylor had an RBI double. So, okay, there's 3 guys right there. Miguel Vargas, a 2 RBI double. So, again, another good inning there. And then the 8th inning, Michael Busch walks. There is your 8th guy right there who has contributed. Freddie Freeman hits a home run. Max Muncy single. Chris Taylor walks. So, hey, like I said, that was a fantastic performance offensively, and not just the fact that you scored runs. I talk about, hey, don't obsess about the amount of runs necessarily you scored because that's results based. Let's chew on the process. Well, the process is, again, after the first inning, you had a third of your lineup that directly contributed. After the second inning, you had almost 70% of your lineups, 2/3 of your lineup that had directly contributed. And whenever you do that early in the game, typically speaking, it's going to be a good day offensively, which it was for the Dodgers as they pounded out a whole bunch of runs, 13 in total. Okay, and another factor about this, I've mentioned this on past podcasts that, hey, every single hit, every single run was generated by the top of the lineup. Not last night, okay? Last night, the bottom of the order, let's say the bottom of the order, the last 4 guys. Okay, James Outman, Miguel Vargas, Miguel Rojas, Austin Barnes, they combined went 7 for 18, okay? And Austin Barnes is the only guy that didn't get a hit. And they scored 4 runs, and they had 5 RBIs. So when the bottom of your lineup is going 7 for 18, scoring 4 runs, and has 5 RBIs, okay, then, that's the thing about that is the amount of pressure that puts on a pitcher because, when you're not scoring at the bottom of your lineup, the pitcher feels like, hey, about every second or third inning, they really have to bear down because that's the top of the order. But then it almost feels like you're giving innings away and you're kind of giving them some time off when the bottom of your order is not doing anything. Well, when the bottom of the order has 5 RBIs and is 7 for 18, there is no break. There is no relaxing for the other team's pitcher. And it just feels like to them that the Dodgers are constantly putting pressure on them. And the more pressure you put on even professionals, typically speaking, over the long haul, that the more mistakes they're going to make. And the more mistakes they make, like the hanging breaking balls, the hanging sliders to Miguel Vargas that he took advantage of in his first 2 at-bats, the better off you're going to be. So by the fact that, hey, you spread the wealth, 8 out of your 9 guys got hits, and the bottom of your order was producing last night, the Phillies, they had to have felt like there was just absolutely no break at all from the pitching perspective. And because they felt like they had no break, then they eventually did break themselves. That's what happens, man. You pressure people into breaking, and there is a break point even for professionals. And we saw that break point last night that the Dodgers put the Phillies in. And it was a fantastic thing to see. This is the kind of offense the Dodgers are capable of playing each and every day. This is the type of offense that is a blueprint for them to, hey, I think they're on pace now to win 93, 94 games, something like that, of which, we've talked about all the new parts coming in. Dodgers fans would have to be happy about that. So, this is the blueprint right here as far as offensively. And then Julio, I've talked about, hey, that third time through the lineup is tough. I know from a statistical analysis perspective, a lot of times it makes sense to take that pitcher out. Don't let him face that lineup for the third time. But again, hey, whenever you're only having to use 2 relief pitchers, you're only having to rely on having 2 guys to have good nights that night, of which the Dodgers got last night. It really simplifies the formula because, the more guys you bring in relief, I talked about this the other day, the more the odds go up that at least one guy will be off on their game. And many times, especially in close games, it only takes one guy to be off to lose a game. So, man, it sure uncomplicates things whenever you can have a guy that can get you through 7 innings, and you only have to bring in 2 relief pitchers at that point. Okay, Miguel Vargas. All right, 4 for 5. How about them? I know some Dodgers fans were a little bit worried about him, and I know there were even some fans that felt like, hey, maybe it's time to send him back down to AAA and identify his swing again, make him, what minor leagues does for guys when they get sent back down, it allows them to go back and concentrate on the process. They're not as results-based. So then they go back and find out what they're great at. Again, I saw that with Gavin Lux with my own eyes. Austin Barnes did it in 2019. So they get to go down, they get to figure out, hey, what has always made me good? What is it that got me to the major leagues and had me have success in the major leagues? They get to go back and figure all those things out. So there were some people, at least through comments that I've gotten on Dodgers Daily, that felt like, hey, maybe it's approaching time that Miguel Vargas gets sent back down and kind of work on some things. Okay, how about the 4 for 5 last night? And the impressive part of it, if you look at his first 2 at-bats, it's that slider on the inner half. So he showed that he has the ability to keep the hands back and stay back on a breaking ball. And it was on the inner half, and he pulled them. Then if you look at his third at-bat, the Phillies went hard away with a fastball in the outer half. And being on the outer half of the plate, guess what he did with that pitch? He hit it into right field. Great hitters hit the ball where it's pitched, and Miguel Vargas put a clinic on that last night. So he had multiple pitches. He hit sliders, he hit off-speed pitches, he hit fastballs, and he hit them where the pitches were located. So from that perspective, that's the Miguel Vargas that, the organization has seen. That's the Miguel Vargas that won the 2021 AA Central hitting crown. That's the Miguel Vargas that, hit over 300 last year and had an OPS around 1,000. That's the hitting machine that the organization has become familiar with Miguel Vargas hitting multiple types of pitches, hitting them exactly where they're located, and having multi-hit games. So that was great to see for Miguel. So again, okay, going for the sweep this afternoon, Gavin Stone on the bump. Can't wait. So hey, let's not waste any more time. Let's now transition to our minor league part of this show, and let's take a trip down the farm. The Oklahoma City Dodgers went into the top of the ninth inning and had not scored yet. They'd only had one hit on the night, and then they erupted for 5 in the top of the ninth, thanks in part to this home run that you saw by recently brought back down Luke Williams, who actually joined the team in El Paso. This was his first game back with AAA Oklahoma City. He hit this home run in the top of the ninth. That got the Oklahoma City Dodgers going. They hung a 5 spot on the El Paso Chihuahuas, the AAA affiliates of the San Diego Padres, and won again last night 5-2 to move their record to 21-7. Robbie Erlin, he went 6 innings last night. Good start for him. He gave up just 2 earned runs, had 4 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. Taylor Scott, he continues to be dominant, as well as his ERA on the year now is just 0.79. He had a scoreless inning, and then we're going to get into some of the video of Nick Robertson and wandersuero. So, hey, Luke Williams got the party started last night offensively for the Oklahoma City Dodgers, who erupted for 5 runs in the top of the ninth to win 5-2. So Luke Williams got the game-winning hit. wandersuero got the win, and you're seeing him right here. And then Nick Robertson got the save that we're going to see in just a minute. Hey, it's going to be interesting to see, wandersuero with all the major league experience he has. This is the kind of guy the Dodgers love to bring in, with major league experience, minor league contract, and wandersuero has just been absolutely killing it. He has an ERA this year of just 169. His whip is just 0.94, and his average against is just 139. So let me pose this question. If you're going to bring in a wandersuero that has major league experience, and then that wandersuero type guy, major league experience type guy, is going to perform as well as wandersuero has, and then you don't bring him up to the major league club, then why'd you sign him in the first place? Why do you sign a wandersuero to a minor league contract, and then he performs very well if you don't have intentions of eventually, giving him a chance at the major leagues? If you're going to go sign a guy like that, and not bring up your younger prospects, if he's going to be eating up innings that a younger prospect could have, and you have no plans of ever letting wandersuero, have a look at the major league level, then why would you bring in a wandersuero, would be my question at that point. So I only say that to say this. I don't mean that as a criticism of anybody, because the Dodgers have a tremendous amount of talent. I only say that just simply to say, hey, it'll be interesting to see, when the Dodgers brought him in, were they serious about, him being a major league type pitcher? Because if they are, it'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with wandersuero, because I tell you what, he's that guy with major league experience, minor league contract, the exact kind of guy the Dodgers like. And hey, why do you bring a wandersuero over, with major league contract, with major league experience, if you don't have plans on evaluating whether he can help your major league team, right? Okay, and he's been killing it. So I would have to think the front office is starting to wonder, hey, is wandersuero a guy that could play into the formula for the Dodgers at the major league level? Because his ERA on the year is just 169. His whip is 0.94. And his average against is just 139. So, hey, this scenario right here, this young man right here, wandersuero, he's going to be an interesting situation to follow for the Dodgers. Just released my latest interview with this young man yesterday, Nick Robertson. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I did not have video. I actually did have video of it, but my camera was malfunctioning that day, and it just really looked blurry and real bad, so I just made it an audio only and put some highlights over the top of it. But hey, good interview with Nick Robertson. He talks about some of the changes he made. He went strictly to the slide step and some of the things he did to become more consistent. Okay, not going to sugarcoat it. It was a good performance last night. He was absolutely dirty, a little wild at times, and that wildness, boy, look at that changeup, though. That is just a fantastic pitch. His stuff is just absolutely dynamite, but right there, a little wild, okay, from time to time. I know he threw one to the screen. That's what's holding him back right now is, at least from time to time, some command issues, but I think he's knocking on the door at least deserving a chance at showing what he can do at the major league level. He has been very good for Oklahoma City this year. He was very good for Oklahoma City at the end of last year as well. His ERA is 3.29. His whip is just 1.02, and his average against is just 2.26. And Nick Robertson has gone scoreless in 4 outings in a row and 10 out of his last 11. So like I said, dating back to last year, he's done a very good job. Dating back to last year, as a matter of fact, he has gone scoreless in 13 out of his 15 innings, and those are all AAA innings. So Nick Robertson doing a good job. Double A drillers, they had a little bit of a rough week last week, but they won their first game of the series last week and then their last game of the series, so they went 2-4. So this is a good bounce back for them. They just absolutely opened up a can last night. They scored 11 runs. Of course, the tone was set by the young man that you're seeing right here, Kylehurt, who was just absolutely fantastic. That slider pitch and his changeup and his fastball is always hot. Kylehurt was very, very, very good. Tulsa, they scored 3 in the first. They scored single runs in the second and third. Then they hung another crooked number in the fifth and the eighth with 3 spots as well. So they had 3 spots last night. A 3 spot in the first, a 3 spot in the fifth, and a 3 spot in the eighth. And that was sandwiched around a single run in the second and the third. And boy, I'll tell you what, the Tulsa Drillers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys had hits last night, and 3 of those guys had multi-hits, including eddysleonard, who absolutely busted out last night. We're going to get into more of him here in a minute. Jonnydeluca busted out with 3 hits, and Yorbit B-Boss as well. So another good win for the Tulsa Drillers. Again, on the mound was Kylehurt to start the game. We'll get into more of him in just a minute. Alecgamboa had a good outing. Trevor Betancourt, and then Reyes came in towards the end and threw as well. So a good night last night for the Tulsa Drillers. Again, who you're seeing right here is Kylehurt. This dude has been absolutely explosive. He's been consistent, and he's been dominant. He's reached at least 99 with his fastball, and as you're seeing right here in this video, he had good command of his secondaries, that changeup and the slider as well. He went 3 innings last night. He gave up just no runs, 1 hit, and 3 Ks. So, hey, Kylehurt, the young man out of San Diego, pitching fantastic. Look at that 4-seam up and in to match off of that slider low and away and the changeup that tumbles. That one right there, the good pair right there, and there's a good, hey, that's diegocartaya just absolutely hosing the runner. So there you go. Great job last night, Kylehurt, and diegocartaya from behind the plate. Jonnydeluca is kind of having some Ricky Henderson tendencies here lately. Of course, he steals a lot of bases. We know about that. He's a 20-20 guy basically every year if everything goes right and he stays healthy. And this is the 3rd time in like the last week that he's actually led the game off with a home run. Of course, Dennis Higgins, the wonderful play-by-play guy. Let me actually get the stat 100% correct. This is from the play-by-play guy, Dennis Higgins, the wonderful voice for the Tulsa Drillers. This is the 3rd time that Jonnydeluca has led off a game this year with a home run. It was his 7th home run of the year, and DeLuca is 5 for his last 7. The multi-tooled outfielder out of California, the LA area originally, went to Oregon. He was actually a switch hitter at Oregon, and so he ditched the left side and got a lot stronger, and all of a sudden the speed was still there, but then the power started coming. So Jonnydeluca, fantastic job getting the party started off right last night. You know, I've talked at length lately about Joseramos and how he's taking the ball the other way. He's letting it get a little bit deeper. He's using all parts of the field. But, hey, man, make no mistake about it. The most impressive thing he does offensively is what you just saw. When he hits a pull side home run, I talk about it a lot. He has those ones that just bounce, and they have those perfect launch angles coming off of his bat, and they are just majestic-looking moonshots. Watch this. Kapow. Wow. Joseramos, when he hits a home run like that, it just takes your breath away. Ramos is hitting .274. His OPS is .859. Well, you got to see the number 1 prospect for the Dodgers, Diegocartaya, throw out a runner. Now you're getting to see him hit an absolute home run, an absolute bomb. This was home run number 2 on the year for Diegocartaya. That's on the heels of a 3-hit game the night before. So Diegocartaya, as the weather warms up, so is he starting to hit his. You know, that transition in Double A is a tough one because I'm just telling you, guys in Double A, every single one of them has major league talent. They're usually the top prospects in other teams' organizations. You know, AAA is kind of more of a mix of the older veteran types that are coming back down. You know, so it's just a tremendous amount of talent there is in Double A. So that jump to Double A a lot of times is, you know, it takes a while to make that transition because you are jumping quite a bit in talent level, and then you're so close to the major leagues. You know, it's a supercharged environment. So, hey, Diegocartaya starting to adjust, starting to have big days. The weather's warming up, so super excited about him. Been waiting for eddysleonard to bust out for a while now, and boy, did he last night. He had 3 hits. You know, it's been a very slow start for Eddies, and that Double A transition many times is one that is a very difficult one to make. You know, just talked about it a minute ago because the talent level is so good. You're talking about other organizations' top prospects. This is actually diegocartaya right here. So let me back that up, give you another look at eddysleonard. Talented young prospect. Hey, got it going last night. Just need that one spark to get that positive momentum to get a good streak going in 2023. And eddysleonard did that last night, going 3 for 3 with a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs. Boy, it was great to see alecgamboa back to his old ways, painting the outside corners right there. Boy, he is like an artist. Whenever he is on, he paints that outside corner, especially low and away. He went 3 innings last night of shutout baseball and hitless baseball. Look at that changeup off of that same tunnel, off of that same low and away corner, that same low and away tunnel, and then the 4-seam up in the zone. So he had that low and away spot nailed down with multiple pitches. He had the 4-seam working up in the zone that you just saw right there twice in a row. That led him to 3 shutout and hitless innings, and he struck out 4 and walked none. This is Gamboa's second great outing in a row, so he's catching his stride for 2023. Kind of like eddysleonard, but on the pitching side, it's been a little bit of a slow start for the lefty out of Madera, California, the Fresno area. Went to Fresno Community College. A little bit of a slow start for him, but he's starting to heat up right now. Hey, what else can you say about Trevor Betancourt? He had a great outing last night for Double-A Tulsa. He moved his ERA down to 174, his whip down to 068, and his average down to average against, I should say, down to 114. Boy, Trevor Betancourt has been one of, if not the best relief pitchers for the Double-A Drillers all year long. Betancourt has allowed runs in only 1 of his 7 outings so far this year. So, hey, well done, the young man who's been in professional baseball since 2015. And boy, don't you know, we saw that story the other day with Drew Maggi, who I actually got to see in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Finally made the major leagues after so long. Boy, that would be a neat story if Trevor Betancourt could kind of follow suit. And, you know, after all this time that he spent grinding, the everyday grind in this game, if he could find a path to get to L.A. eventually, that would be really, really cool. The Great Lakes Loons had the coldest and also the most entertaining game yesterday. Absolutely no doubt about it. They are one of the funnest teams to watch. They're one of the hottest teams in all minor leagues. They won in extra innings 7-6. You're seeing it right here on a walk-off hit from yuniorgarcia. And boy, I tell you what, that is fun because, A, it obviously wins the game, and B, as you see all these guys bundled up, that means the game's over, so you get to go into the clubhouse and get warm. So there's a lot of things that were good about that walk-off hit from yuniorgarcia, again scoring 1 in the bottom of the 10th. They were playing the Quad City River Bandits. I love that name, the River Bandits. Okay, Great Lakes, they got down 3-1. Going into the 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th inning, they were down 3-1. They tied it at 3-3. They took a 5-3 lead when they put a 2-spot in the bottom of the 7th. They gave up 2 in the top of the 8th to tie the game at 5. Gave up 1 in the bottom of the 9th, okay, and then, or in the top of the 9th, I should say, and then they eventually won in the bottom of the 10th. 10-1 pitching yesterday was good. Ben Casperia started. Franklin De La Paz, Ronaldo De Paula, Christian Suarez, Jake Pilarski pitched as well, and Michael Hobbs finished it off with a scoreless inning as well. So, hey, this was yuniorgarcia, who had the walk-off yesterday for the Loons, who, again, is the funnest and the hottest team possibly in all the minor leagues. As my grandpa used to say, Austingauthier is hotter than a little red wagon. Have a day, Austingauthier. Actually, no, have an entire start to the beginning of 2023. Okay, Gauthier yesterday was just a triple short of the cycle, and he's now hitting .406. His OPS is 1080, and he has an 11-game hit streak and has hits in 15 of his last 16 games. So the young man out of Hofstra, Austingauthier, has been absolutely on fire. Dalton Rushing did simply put, what Dalton Rushing always does, which is have a 2-hit day, and he now has hits in 3 of his last 4 games. And you know what? You're seeing it right here. Look how bundled up these players are. Hitting in, the Midwest League in northeastern Indiana, in Midland, Michigan, and places like this is not always easy because, you're talking about temps in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, rain, wind, that kind of thing. Not necessarily great baseball environments. And so, his average of 273 it's a lot better than that actual number states, because to hit that well in the type of hitting environments he's hit like that in is very, very impressive. Impressive, especially when you consider that its OPS is 10.01 on the year, which is, hey, that is 21st best in the Midwest League. So, hey, matter of fact, that's pretty good for Dalton Rushing, one of the best hitting prospects, not only in the Dodgers organization, but in the entire minor leagues. It was a rare low-scoring game in the California League yesterday. Look at that change-up from Peter Heubeck that you're seeing on your screen. Look at that change-up and then the big curveball. He's transitioned, Peter Heubeck has, into a 4-pitch pitcher. He's always had that big there's that change-up again. He's always had the big curveball that you saw just a minute ago. There's that slider. So you saw it, and there's the 4-seam. He had the curveball and the 4-seam. He's added that slider we just saw the pitch before, and then the change-up that we've seen already twice. There's Griffin Doersching, who went to Oklahoma State. I got to see every at-bat of his last year as OSU was really good. They actually got to host a regional. There's the 4-seam that Peter Heubeck has always had. Rancho won 2-1 yesterday in a low-scoring game, and boy, this was the second great outing from. Look at that change-up again from Peter Heubeck. So you've seen the big 4-seam. There's the curveball. We saw the changeup, and we saw a slider just a minute ago as well. So, hey, great pitchers. There's another changeup. Look at the fade on that pitch. Very, very, very good pitch for Heubeck. There's that slider. Great pitchers, they have those pitch mixes like Heubeck to where, hey, maybe if one pitch isn't working great one day, then they have a big enough bag to where they can find at least one or two things each outing that they go out that's working that day, and that's what Heubeck has been doing. Of course, yesterday, for the most part, all four of his pitches were working very well as he led the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes to a 2-1 victory. So that was very exciting. Chris Newell had a couple of hits as well. Again, and I've talked about Chris Newell many different times. I love the young man out of Virginia. He just absolutely is a big-time hitter. Great speed, great base stealer. So, hey, good game yesterday for Rancho Cucamonga Quakes to finish off the organizational sweep, the third one the last week and a half. If you take away that second game of the doubleheader that Oklahoma City had on Sunday, then you could consider it the fourth organizational sweep in the last week and a half. How about that? So there you have it. There's our show for you today. The third organizational sweep, as I just mentioned on the other side of the break, in the last week and a half. You could consider it the fourth, and it was very, very entertaining yesterday and today. Well, I'll tell you what, the Dodgers have a chance again for their second sweep in a row. Big-time momentum heading into the San Diego series, and Gavin Stone on the bump. I cannot wait to watch that game today. I cannot wait to watch Gavin Stone's Major League debut. I am so pumped. I just cannot wait. That's all I can say. I'm just busting out of the seams right now to get that game going and get Gavin Stone on a Major League mound for the first time. The young man that, again, was from a small town and had a huge vision. So, hey, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tune in tomorrow as well. Just one last reminder before we get out of here, we do have the ability to donate now. We have the link in the description to donate if you would like to do that. And also, if you like this kind of content, click the like button, please, and tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. Become a subscriber, and then, click that notification bell. Tell all your friends to click the notifications that way every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video. You guys will all be notified, and you won't miss a thing from Dodgers Daily. And we keep growing, keep doing what we love to do, which is providing videos like this in the future. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.